Hey, it's Caleb from Brownells here, and I'm joined with Andrew from Surefire.
Hey.
And we're out at Big Springs Shooting Complex, Brownells Range, to take a look at the RC4 suppressor line. So just take us through it. Let's jump right in.
Yeah, man. So our latest suppressor line, these are first and foremost a low back pressure suppressor. As you know, traditional suppressors might generate a fair amount of back pressure. What that is the gas coming back through the operating system of the firearm. On a bolt gun, it doesn't matter a whole lot, but on a semi-auto gun, it matters quite a bit. That gas coming back into your face is extremely toxic. You don't want to be breathing it in. It's also very, irritative. It makes your eyes water. It gets all in your face. Makes the gun a lot dirtier. Also speeds up the gun quite a bit. So, low back pressure suppressors, there's a big emphasis on that these days on the military side from a health standpoint, but also from a performance standpoint. The gun's going to stay cleaner. It's going to run smoother. It's obviously not speeding up quite as much. So these, our SOCOM 4 series suppressors, have a 60% reduction in back pressure compared to our legacy suppressors, as in the RC2 or SOCOM 556 RC suppressors. So huge reduction in back pressure, first and foremost. If you're familiar with our RC3 model, which was our previous and our first entrance into the low back pressure suppressors, this is kind of a rapid iteration. It came kind of quickly after the SOCOM RC3 launch, and some people are asking why. Directly we had end user feedback where there was some concerns because of the RC3 has some wide open vents at the end of it that you might be potentially able to see ignition inside the suppressor. So although the flash performance of what flash is leaving the suppressor was really, really good, there was a potential for seeing ignition inside the suppressor from downrange. So from our military end users, we had some feedback, and that's where the SOCOM 4 came from. So these diverters in the front block those vents so you cannot see into the suppressor like the previous generation. In addition to that, we're always working on things after we launch a product. The engineers are always trying to make things better. So at the same time, overall flash performance is substantially better as well. By that I mean the flash exiting the suppressor. Right. So from a warfighter standpoint, we kind of build our suppressors kind of aimed at that. And those are some of the biggest priorities is back pressure and flash performance. It uses our SOCOM Fast-Attach mount. So we have a huge ecosystem of those flash hiders, war comps, muzzle brakes, bunch of different options. Over 1 million of those out there in the field. So a lot of mounts available.
So with all of those different muzzle devices, is there one that works better than some of the others?
Yeah, these are definitely optimized for the open tine devices. Okay. With low back pressure suppressors, flash is super sensitive to what type of muzzle device and where the gases are going with where the vents are on the inside. So these were designed around the open tine muzzle devices because that's the issued SOCOM flash hider. So that's what these are optimized for. Definitely not going to perform as far as flash goes as well on a closed tine device.
Got it. Okay.
So with this new line, we have 3 models we're starting with. In my hands, I have the SOCOM 556 RC4. So this is the full-sized 556 suppressor. Yep. 6.3 inches, about 17 ounces. In the middle, we have our SOCOM 6 Mini 4. This was designed around 6 arc, obviously becoming extremely popular. About in the middle as length, 5.8 inches, 16 ounces. And then at the end, the little guy, this is the SOCOM 556 Mini 4 suppressor. This is 5.5 inches and 15 ounces. One cool thing about these suppressors now that we've come so far with flash, previously our mini suppressors we didn't recommend running on a barrel shorter than 14.5 inches because of flash primarily. These are good enough to where we're saying you're good to go on SBRs.
Oh, awesome.
So that's a big jump forward as far as flash reduction goes. So super solid, very durable suppressor. They're completely Inconel. The entire suppressor is completely Inconel, if you're not familiar, is a high temperature alloy that maintains structural integrity even when it gets extremely hot. So you're able to abuse these suppressors and they're going to keep going.
So I have a question.
Yep.
What if I want to run a mini on my 6 arc?
You can.
Okay.
Yep, you absolutely can. So all of these 3 suppressors could be run on a 6 arc. We have the SOCOM 6 Mini 4 specifically designated for 6 arc because we have customers that want the warm and fuzzy feeling of having the proper suppressor, but they can be used interchangeably for 5.56 or 6 arc.
Okay, awesome. So
the bore will allow it.
Excellent to know. as far as weight goes, what are some of the weight differences here? Because we have people that like to just like min-max that kind of stuff.
Totally. Yeah, so this is 15 ounces, 16 ounces, 17 ounces.
Okay.
Roughly.
Awesome.
Yep. It's a mix of manufacturing methods. So there's 3D printed or additive manufacturing used in here, as well as some machined components that are all laser welded together. So yeah, super awesome suppressor. If you're looking for like kind of the end all be all fighting suppressor, this is a really good option. Priorities, you know, like I said, back pressure and flash are at the top of it. Durability and reliability are at the top of it. Does an outstanding job of sound reduction, but we're definitely not trying to be the quietest suppressors in the world.
Sure.
Straight up, you know, with suppressors specifically, I'm sure you've seen this, the attributes, they all affect each other. So if you want something super quiet, it, you know, might get bigger, it might get heavier. If you want something super lightweight, it might get less durable, you know,
right.
Flash might be sacrificed. All of these things kind of affect each other. And so what we're trying to do is have the best overall configuration for what the warfighter is looking for.
Okay, yeah, so the perfect warfighter-minded balance.
That's right.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, so what we're going to do now at this point is we'll do a little bit of testing with it. So
yeah,
I really want to shoot this compared to like an RC2 or something like that. Compare the two, and then as it gets darker, we'll also do some flash tests. Sweet. Obviously, we can't do that right now, but also what we'll do is some sound stuff, so you can kind of hear the difference in the different suppressors.
Totally.
Yeah. So let's go ahead.
Let's go shoot.
All right. So we have two identical 11.5-inch BCM Mark IIs, and on this one I have a RC2, and on that one right there we have a RC4. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fire 5 rounds, and then he's going to hand me the next gun. We're just going to swap out, and I'm going to fire 5 more rounds, and just to feel that difference. Whenever the can's pressurize and the recoil impulse, the muzzle climb, stuff like that. So
cool.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's give it a shot.
All right. All right, so here's the RC2. All right, and then we have RC4. Noticeably way flatter, way less recoil impulse. So yeah, there really is a huge difference in that actual pressure buildup. That's crazy.
And yeah, I mean, as a lefty, you could probably appreciate it a little more than most because normally you're eating the gas like out of this one. That's why, like with this, you know, testing back to back, I like to have people shoot rapidly, and you know, that way it gives the gas, especially if you're shooting outside, a little time to accumulate. And you can really see the difference in a low back pressure suppressor and the advantages behind it. Way less gas in the face. Yep. Gun's gonna feel like it's more controllable, tracks a little bit more steady on target, and yeah, it's a better performing suppressor. They're awesome. Yeah, and so that was excellent. What we're gonna do now, we'll just do a little bit of a sound test. We'll shoot them so you can listen and hear the differences and whatnot. So yeah, let's just jump right into that. Sure. All right, so something to talk about as well, whenever you're running a muzzle device with the ports in it, there's a trade-off, isn't there? Yeah, exactly. So generally we recommend, if you're running like full-time suppressed, the standard flash hider, our SF3P, is the go-to. The War Comp, which is our ported, we call it a directionally controlled flash hider. It's not a muzzle brake. It's an outstanding device if your goal is flash mitigation and muzzle rise mitigation. Doesn't have any, you know, baffles that would stop, like a muzzle brake would stop recoil or reduce recoil. Recoil's still there, but the gun stays nice and flat and on target when you're shooting it unsuppressed. Sure. That said, when you put a suppressor on a War Comp, it's because of these ports, it's a little bit louder at the shooter's ear, a fair amount. So there's a trade-off there, and you're also dumping carbon at the rear of the suppressor, and therefore it can carbon lock, it can lock the suppressor on a little bit sooner. So it's definitely a trade-off. If you're shooting half and half, you're going to enjoy the benefits when unsuppressed. The gun's going to be nice and flat. That said, like I said, if you're shooting mostly suppressed, we definitely recommend the flash hider is the way to go.
Okay, yeah, that's a good bit of information. That's good to know. That's something I actually didn't know before coming out here, so that's great.
Yep.
All right, so it's dark outside now, as you can see. So what we're going to do is go ahead and do that muzzle flash test.
Yep.
So Andrew's going to shoot, and I'm gonna watch so I can see what you see.
So how'd it look?
It worked really well. So obviously with the longer barrel, I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
Like it was minimal.
Barrel length helps.
Yeah. But with the shorter barrels, there was just a little bit coming out the end, but that was it.
Yeah.
Like super impressive.
Yeah, even when it gets like first round pop, you're always going to have a little bit bigger flash.
Sure.
Even that, I mean, we're super proud. It's extremely minimal, extremely small, and even when the can heats up, after putting high round count, it maintains. So if you're doing low light stuff, if you're shooting with night vision, it's a really big advantage. And then obviously, especially from a military perspective, that's a big focus. So
yeah, big time. So yeah, I mean, I'm impressed.
Thank you.
It was great. I know y'all are going to be impressed as well, especially if you're like into this kind of stuff and you already know a little bit about it. You're going to be like, dang, that was like my exact word. You can use those too. But with that being said, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to post them down below. As always, if you need help with anything for any reason ever, feel free to give us a call on the tech line. We'll be happy to help you out. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.